This is a matter of preference. You can go through the top ones, but I prefer to go through the middle parts because I like the border to be the same all through the four corners of the blanket. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amara, and if today is your first time coming across any of my videos, thank you so much for stopping by. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. I love you so much. Anyway, today's video we are going to be making a Valentine themed blanket. So my client requested for that. She actually sent me a pattern that she wants me to recreate for her. This is what it's looking like. Of course, I love my visuals. What am I going to do without my visuals? And my printer didn't mess up this time. So this is what it's going to be looking like. It's in three colors, white, pink, and red, and then a little different pink, like two shades of pink is going to be on the blanket. So without further much yippee, let's get into it, shall we? These are the four colors that I'll be using for this blanket. I have red, I have white. This is soft, bright pink. This is really bright pink, and this is like soft pink. It's not too bright like this one. Then I have my pattern. This is my guide to make this blanket. Then I also have my scissors and my lighter. So starting with the white. So if you take a close look at the pattern, there are dots of other colors on each block. Those dots are going to be hearts. I have a video on how to add hearts to your blanket when you're making the blanket, and after you've made the blanket, you want to add a heart to it. I'm going to be putting the link to that in the description, and I also put it somewhere up top for you. And let's get into this blanket. For this blanket, I'm going to be casting on 29 chains. So first you make a slip knot and then pull through. I'm going to do this for 29 chains. Each one is about 3 fingers wide. 3, 4, 5. Okay, just because I have problem with math, I am going to count to make sure I have 29 because sometimes it's always wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course, I had extra. Okay, so now that I'm done with the casting on, I'm going to flip this over. When I flip it, this last stitch is going to go up. So I had 30 because this 30th is going to be number 1 on this first row. So it's going up. So when I say cast on 29, I always add extra 1 for the first loop of the first row, which is going to be going up. Now I'm going to be pulling through. As always, I pull through the middle parts. Each loop or each chain has 3 legs, the top leg, the bottom leg, and the middle leg. So I'm going to go through the middle leg. This is a matter of preference. You can go through the top ones, but I prefer to go through the middle parts because I like the border to be the same all through the 4 corners of the blanket. So I pull through the middle ones is what I'm going to be pulling through. And hopefully by the time I'm done pulling through this first row, we would have 29 stitches. Or I'm going to be starting over. And that's the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Okay, so we have 29, and look at how the border is looking. So this border is going to continue like all through the 4 corners of the blanket, which is what I really like. If you go through the top leg, it's not going to look like this. Okay, but still, it's a matter of preference. Whichever one you prefer is not wrong. As long as you're doing it right, doesn't mean it's wrong. Like you're going through another method and going through another method, that doesn't mean that whatever each of us is doing is wrong. So now we're done with the cast on and the first row. The blanket automatically starts. This is going to be a regular knit stitch. The only thing is that I'm going to be adding hearts to a couple of spots. So it's a regular knit stitch. I'm just going to be knitting, knitting, knitting all through. The only thing is that I'm going to be adding a heart at some strategic places. It's a pretty easy pattern. So each block of color is nine rows going up. On the fifth row is where the hats are going to be. The hat is about 5. So it's going to be really easy and fast, hopefully, if I don't have any interruptions, because I have lots of interruptions. Sometimes my brain just goes and remembers 1,001 things that I have to do and abandon the blanket. I'm trying to stay in focus. Okay, and then the last stage. So I don't know if anybody has noticed, I don't double knit my last loop before knitting my blankets. I drop the stitch, kind of. I don't double knit it before going ahead and continuing. And when I do so, I always make sure this one is bigger than the main loops. Again, matter of preference. You can double knit and continue knitting. That's fine. It doesn't mean that's wrong. It's a matter of preference because I really like how it looks. It's still the same thing with this. The border is going to continue like it's one straight border. It's going to continue like that. Or if you double knit, it's not really going to look like that, but still doesn't mean that it's wrong. So if you see other creatures that double knit their ends, doesn't mean they are doing the wrong thing. It's just a matter of preference, or will I say how you learned? So if you learned from one creator, you kind of do what they do, you learn from your teacher, you kind of want to do what your teacher does. Because if you make a mistake, they will say, oh yeah, it's because you didn't do it how I taught you. So you kind of want to do as I do. That makes sense. So this is the third one. Yeah, that's the third row. This is the fourth one. When we're coming back on the fifth one is when we're going to be adding the hearts to it. Points as you're knitting, try to maintain even tension all around the blanket. That would help the blanket stay the same size and not look funny. Like some loops are big, some like outrageously big because you're not like measuring it, you're just like using your head to figure out, oh, this one is bigger than this one is smaller than this one. But then not to make some loops outrageously big and some outrageously small. That's going to affect the size and shape of the blanket. So if you hear anybody say try to maintain even tension, they are just saying try to make the loops the same, about the same. Oh, I forgot my stitch markers. Okay, be right back. When you're adding a hat to a blanket, it's advised you get your stitch markers. That would really help you so you don't make mistakes. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming back from my right to left is going to be the fifth row, and that's where I want the hats to be. So the hats are going to be on every fifth stitch. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every fifth stitch is going to be the hat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a problem. There is a problem somewhere. The hat is supposed to be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a problem, people. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's correct. I was almost freaking out that I'm going to start all over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, I have a math problem. I've said that a couple of times. I always count and miscount. I was so scared I'm going to rip this whole thing apart and start all over. But thankfully, we're not going to do that because it's correct. A round of applause for Amara for getting it right. So get your stitch markers and mark the points where you want the hat to be. Now I've marked this one. It's going to be easy for me. Then on this part, the hat is going to be in red. So when I get here, I'm going to be adding a hat there. A hat is just basically one stitch. One stitch. That's it. So now I've gotten here that I want to add the hat. I'll grab my scissors. I'm going to trim off the white, which is the main color. And now I'm going to add the red, which is the hat. I like to use the burn method. I think if you're adding a hat to the blanket, there is really no other way to do it. The tying method will not work, except if you want to sew the two yarns together. If your sewing is really good, then you can sew them together. But tying is not really going to work on this one. And as always, I advise do a pull test. Make sure it's not coming apart. Okay. Now we are sure it's not coming apart. We'll go ahead and knit. So we knit the red. We'll trim it off again. Wait for the next one. We'll continue with the white. This is the only thing that would make this blanket take time. This is the only thing that will make this blanket take longer. The adding the hats. But if it's just regular knitting all the blankets, it's going to be easy. But adding the hat is going to make it take longer, just a tad bit longer. Okay, that's secure. And we continue knitting. And we got them here again. I'm going to trim. If you're doing this, try not to let the burning burn too much. If it burns too much, it might have a hard bump here. But if you feel that really hard bump, you can massage it in between your hands to kind of loosen it up. And as always, do a pull test. What's the first stitch mark? Okay, there it is. Next, cut. Some people like to pre-cut this the hats, like pre-cut it so they just burn it together. That's if that's easier for you, even better. If that's easier for you to pre-cut the loops, just cut them and have it ready. That's fine. If not, you can just cut and knit as you go. Or cut and burn as you go. Cut, burn, knit as you go. Okay. So now we are done with the heart. I'm going to move this one. Fuzzies. There's a lot of fuzzies everywhere. Okay, so now I'm going to add additional 4 more rows to this block. And there you have it. That's the hat, like, you know, that's how the hat is formed. So if you see blankets that have tiny, tiny hats in it and you're wondering, oh, how did they do that? Well, this is how it's done. It's just one stitch or one loop of, yeah, just one stitch. That's what forms the hat. One stitch forms a hat. Probably when I need to come back, you see it properly. So, ladies and gentlemen, so that's how you have the hearts on it. I'm going to continue working on those blankets on the background, and intermittently, I'm going to be showing you how far I've gone, what it's looking like. If I did make any adjustments, I'll sure to let you know if I did. Well, each block is like 9, like each block of color is 9, and then the heart is on the 5th row, and on the 5th, every 5th stitch is the heart. That's really the pattern. So let's assume you're working on your blankets, you're working with the same color, and you run out of yarn. What do? You can either tie it together, which is not my preferred method. You can tie it together and continue knitting, or you can use the burn method like how we were burning to add the hearts. That's the same way. Trim the ends to expose the plastic. Oops, that didn't cut properly. I think my scissors is going blunt. You want to cut it, make sure you expose the plastic. Same way you add this, because you are kind of burning 2 colors together to add the hearts. Same way, nothing different. Burn it together to add a new yarn. If you're changing colors, that's how I do it. If you're continuing with the same color, that's how I do it. I always do a pull test to make sure it's secure. And once you're sure it's secure, you continue knitting. This is what the blanket is looking like so far. As I said earlier, I'll be coming on intermittently to show how far the blanket is looking, and if I did make any adjustments, I'll be sure to let you know. Okay, so keep watching. All right, everyone. So this is what the blanket is looking like. I'm done with it. I just need to show how I cast it off, which is the same way I do every blanket that I've made if you've seen any of my videos. So this is what it's looking like. The blanket is so beautiful. The pattern is so beautiful. But this is it. I wanted to show that before I cast it off. So now I'm going to cast off the blanket and I'm going to show you how I do that. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see how I cast it off. Okay, so to cast off the blanket, you have the last stitch. This is the only time I double knit the end loop, so I can have that curved border going this way. So you want to have it about there. All right. So this is how I cast off all my blankets. So I pull over. So knit is going to be still about 3 fingers wide, same as when you cast it on. and pull it over. Pull over, knit, yarn over. So that's how I'm going to finish off the blanket or cast off the blanket. And this is how I finish off the blanket. So I make a knot. I like to double knot for some reason. I don't know why, but that's what I do. Okay. And gonna loop. Going to loop this in few stitches. Just burn the end off. So the same way I tidied up this one is how I'm going to tidy up this one too. And that's it on the blankets. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you. Bye.